to propel others to pursue their dreams.
Right now, he's living his childhood dream, but the road to pro wrestling success has not been easy. Evan Anderson brings us tonight's inspiring special report, Fly High.
New class, want to start with our regular routine? And I busted my tail from day in and day out to just get to my level and give all they had, blood, sweat, and tears.
It's my life. I wake up, sleep, and I think about it. And I want to make a career out of it.
It definitely takes a lot of discipline to be here. A lot of determination, a lot of dedication, definitely a lot of pushing.
This is a story about dreams, and dreams coming true. For one local pro wrestler, it was his dream that has turned into a passion.
Wrist down first, and then roll.
Now he's using that passion to make others' dreams become a reality.
Growing up, I was the average child. Didn't have a lot, I grew up a really rough life. Mom and dad, divorced, separated, drugs, alcohol. The rest of my family in and out of jail. And wrestling was my drive. That was my passion to get me out of that world.
Meet 30-year-old Hawx, a husband and father of 2 boys, 13-year-old Perry and 8-month-old Collie.
It's been his dream since I've known him since I was 17, so for almost 15 years knowing him, that's always been his dream. I can't picture him doing anything else.
It's just exciting, seeing the action and everything, how the crowd reacts to people and everything. It's energy. I want to be a part of that one.
I knew from the time I was 2 or 3 years old, I always wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I wasn't going to do it by any means necessary, and I wasn't going to let anything drag me down. So that was my escape out of the reality of my real world.
Hawx is better known in the pro wrestling world as Luke Hawx. But the journey for Luke has not always been easy. He had his first son at the age of 16.
I don't want to say it was a setback because it wasn't, but at the same time, it's one of the things where another responsibility, and I wanted to be the man that my real dad wasn't. So I took in, everything my adopted father told me and taught me and pushed on to my son. I didn't have any parenting. I was that kid that was out on the streets at 8 years old. I'd leave my house for 3 or 4 days and come home and my mom would say, "Where you been?" And I'd say, "I was out. I was at such and such's house." And she'd go, "Okay," or she'd wake me up and go, "You going to school?" And, I'm an 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid. I'd say, "No, I don't want to go to school." And she'd say, "All right." So I'd keep sleeping.
Before Hawx was adopted at 15, he was forced to stay in a group home for over 2 years.
It forced me into a boys' home. I went into Boys Town, which really put some ground rules on me and set me back and put me in the place I needed to be. Matt, make sure you keep your eye on turnbuckle. Y'all going forward, make sure you keep your eye in front of you.
It's that struggle, Hawx says, drove him and showed the value of life.
And if you want to progress and be successful, you have to work hard at it. Nobody's going to give anything to you. Nobody's going to hand you anything. That's what I teach my students here. I tell them if they want to be pro wrestlers, they have to work hard at it. They have to be 100% dedicated to this and put everything they have into it to make it.
Hawx uses his story as a constant motivation when teaching students at his pro wrestling training facility in Kenner.
Eyes in front of you.
The only school of its kind in the Gulf South region.
Good, Ling.
As soon as he graduated from Riverdale High School in Jefferson, a determined Hawx got in his car with $2,000 in his pocket and drove to Philadelphia, a place considered to be one of the most active for pro wrestlers.
I was looking for a school, fell through as soon as I got out there, so I knew a guy in California who was training guys and who was pretty popular at the time, and I kept in touch with.
So he made an unannounced trip from Philly to Oakland, California to see Vic Grimes.
Knocked on his door, hoping for the chance that he'd train me, and he opened his door, he seen it was me because he knew me from before. I met him at some shows and we kept in touch on the telephone, and he opened his door and the first thing he said was, "You're a moron," because he couldn't believe that I drove across country to take a chance just to get trained by him. And when a guy has that much dedication, it's kind of hard to tell a guy no. So he took me in, and thank God, he taught me the ropes. When you kick, he goes down, and you.
Already, Hawx is creating a track record of getting his students recognized by the WWE.
There you go, Wes.
The ultimate goal in a pro wrestler's career.
4 months in, we worked for the WWE already, and we did a couple spots for them, which huge experience. I loved meeting everybody there. I mean, I got to shake hands with Vince McMahon. That was awesome.
Carlos Socorro is also a sergeant in the Army.
I mean, I looked into wrestling since I was a kid. I mean, when I first fell in love with wrestling was Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man, WrestleMania. That was great. That was one of my favorite matches of all time. I mean, that's what made me go, I want to do this.
I guess some people are just born with it, and when you're born, it's just one of those things.
A 23-year-old Paul Wynn, known in the ring as Buku Dao, is only 5 feet tall and weighs 135 pounds. He has guys twice his size running full speed towards him.
Take it. If I run, it's gonna look horrible, and I might get injured. I just gotta take it. I just gotta entertain the fans, show them I got some guts for being a little guy.
And this little guy has big dreams in the pro wrestling arena.
Make it as big as I can, or die trying. That's it.
He drives 2 hours 3 times a week from New Roads for a chance to live his dream. Wynn tells his parents he's going to school to be a professional trainer.
If I can make a living off this and show them that, I can use this as a career and help them out in the end, hopefully they won't be as mad when they find out.
He says he wants to support his mother, who can no longer work because of diabetes, and his father, who was just laid off. There was a point he didn't know where he was going to turn next.
And then nothing was happening. I stopped working out. I started drinking a lot, partying, clubbing, strip clubs, all that, get into that kind of lifestyle.
And now, 7 months later, with the opening of Wildcat Pro Wrestling Training Center, he says he's getting his life back on track.
I think eventually I would have found an addiction, but now I'm addicted to lifting weights and being healthy. So when I do get a chance or get booked for a match, I'll be good in shape and perform at the best.
If you want to be best and you want to move up in the world, you have to do it better than anybody else, and that's how life works. You got a guy. You want to come here?
A man who's spreading his passion along with some life lessons.
Luke Hawx and his students perform at shows across the area. Their next event is next Friday, May 4th at 6:30 at the Hangar on South Brennan Street. Hawx is also an up-and-coming stuntman and actor, and right now he's preparing for a role in The Tomb with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. He just finished G.I. Joe 2 and Common Law on USA Network, so a local star.